I never imagined I'd be the kind of woman who booked a flight with nothing but a handbag and a shaking heart. But that morning, as the winter sun barely scraped across my kitchen window, I felt something inside me collapse. An instinct so strong it drowned out logic. My daughter, Emma, hadn't replied for 2 days. My son, Daniel, brushed it off with a single text. Asterisk, she's just being dramatic again. But the silence felt wrong. A mother knows sometimes too much. I bought the ticket before I fully understood what I was running toward, or what I was running from. The flight and the fear airports have a strange way of amplifying your thoughts. Mine were loud, messy, and cruel. I kept asking myself, asterisk, what did I miss? What did I allow? Where did I go wrong with Daniel? Asterisk, the hum of the plane didn't calm me. Even the clouds outside looked heavy. I replayed every fight they'd had this year. His temper, his drinking, his disappearances. Emma's soft, exhausted voice telling me she was fine when I could hear the tremble behind the word. I should have gone earlier. By the time we landed, my hands were cold and my throat was tight. The hospital discovery, the nurse recognized the dread on my face before I even asked, "Are you family of Emma Reyes?" "Yes," I whispered, though my voice barely existed. She led me to a room with 2 bright lights and 2 silent machines. There she was, my daughter, pale, fragile, the kind of exhaustion you don't sleep off. 4 lines, bruises on her arms, dried tears on her cheeks. She was brought in by an Uber driver, the nurse explained carefully. Severe dehydration, stress-related collapse, elevated heart rate, emotional trauma. She hesitated. She asked for you. Not for my son, for me. And where was Daniel? Out drinking. At a poker night. His location was still shared with me on the app. A neon bar downtown. I stared at the dot blinking on the screen like a slap. Sitting by her bedside, I held Emma's cold hand and felt something bloom in my chest. Rage or love, or both. She stirred. "Is he here?" "No," I said softly, "but I am." Her eyes filled instantly. "I didn't want to call you. I didn't want to be a burden. Your family," I told her. "You're not the burden. You're the one being burdened." For hours, I fed her spoonfuls of water, stroked her hair, listened to the doctors. I learned things I wasn't prepared to hear: months of neglect, fights, long nights alone, bills unpaid, medications avoided. A miscarriage she suffered without telling anyone because Daniel insisted it wasn't a big deal. My heart cracked in places I didn't know existed. Confrontation with my son, asterisk. He stumbled into the hospital at midnight, reeking of whiskey, annoyance dripping off him. "What's with all the drama?" he scoffed. "She always exaggerates." I stood between him and the bed without thinking, without fear. "You walk one more step toward her," I said, "and I swear you'll regret it." He froze. Maybe it was my voice. Maybe it was the truth finally arriving. You don't get to call her dramatic. When she collapsed alone because you weren't there, I hissed, "You don't get to mock her pain. Not anymore." He rolled his eyes, but I kept going. "You have burned through every ounce of grace I have ever given you. I raised you better than this. Or maybe I didn't raise you enough." That one hurt him. It hurt me too. He left without another word. The legal and financial storm asterisk the next morning, with Emma sleeping peacefully beside me, I made calls. Real calls. Hard calls. A lawyer. A financial advisor. The bank. I learned things that made my stomach twist. Asterisk, Daniel had taken loans in both their names. Asterisk, he had maxed out credit cards. Asterisk, he had stopped paying the mortgage, hiding letters in the garage. Asterisk, he had been draining joint savings. Emma didn't know. Not until I showed her the papers. Her hands trembled so violently, I had to hold them still. "I tried so hard," she whispered. "I thought love meant forgiving everything." "No," I said, pulling her close. "Love means protecting yourself too." Together, we placed a temporary freeze on accounts filed for property protection and secured the house in her name until further review. It felt harsh. It felt necessary. It felt like saving someone worth saving. The breaking point with my son Daniel barged into the house 2 days later, loud and furious. "You turned her against me." "No," I said calmly. "You did that," he shouted, threw accusations, called Emma ungrateful, called me controlling. The same old cycles, the same old excuses. For the first time, I didn't absorb his anger. "I will not watch you destroy her," I said, "and I will not let you take this house, her stability, or her future down with you. She's not your daughter," he spat. "But she's my family," I replied, "and she's the only one acting like it." Silence. A long, sharp silence. Finally, I said the words I never thought I would say. You need to leave. And until you get help, until you take responsibility, you are not welcome in my life. His face fell. Maybe he hadn't believed I could ever choose consequences over him, but I did. And he walked out. Scene 7, rebuilding with Emma. The house was quiet after he left. Peaceful in a way it hadn't been for years. Emma and I spent days sorting papers, cleaning rooms, discovering hidden debts, hidden bottles, hidden truths. But we also cooked together, watched old movies, and slowly brought her back to life. One evening, she said softly, "I don't know how to thank you." "You don't," I replied. "You just have to heal." She smiled a small, fragile smile, but it was real. Scene 8. The emotional cost. I cried alone for 3 nights. Not because I doubted my decisions, but because loving a child doesn't stop hurting when they go wrong. No mother dreams of choosing between her child and what's right. No mother prepares for this kind of heartbreak. I kept thinking, asterisk, when did I lose him? When did he lose himself? And why didn't he let us help him before everything broke? Asterisk, but some questions have no answers. Some wounds take years. Final reflection. Love and boundaries. People think love is soft, but real love is steel. It bends, but it doesn't break for someone who keeps choosing destruction. I still love my son, but I love peace. I love safety. I love the young woman who fought so hard to belong to our family, and I love myself enough to finally draw a line. Forgiveness is possible, but not without responsibility, not without change, not without truth. This story isn't about choosing one child over another. It's about choosing what's right when everything hurts. And sometimes the bravest thing a mother can do is step away.